Hello and welcome to this edition of The Hub on CGTN. I'm Wang Guan in Kampala, Uganda, the heart of Africa. Welcome to the program. Now, China-Africa relations are in focus as the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation kicks off in Beijing, China. What is at stake between China and the African states? And what is the future of China-Africa engagement? We talked to a whole host of stakeholders regarding this issue. Zhang Lizhong is the Chinese ambassador to Uganda. Ambassador Zhang, thank you so much for joining us on CGTN.
Thank you.
Talking about China-Uganda relations, we had this relationship all the way back to the 1960s. How would you reflect on this 60-year plus journey between China and Uganda?
China and Uganda established diplomatic relationship in the year 1962, 9 days after Uganda gained its independence. China-Uganda relationship has always been friendly, close, and mutually supportive in the past 62 years. And Uganda friends have told me that China supported Africa's struggle against imperialism, colonialism, and also support African countries' development in the past years. In 2019, China-Uganda relationship was elevated to comprehensive, cooperative relationship with the strategic guidance by the leaders of the two countries. Our relationship have enjoyed good momentum, and as a matter of fact, it has reached the best time in the history.
Talking about bilateral trade and investment relations, bilateral trade exceeded $1 billion in the year 2023. Another way to look at it is bilateral relations doubled itself in a span of just 5 years. And Uganda is becoming a popular destination for some sectors of the Chinese businesses coming here to invest. How have those Chinese development programs, businesses and investments made a difference to society of Uganda?
As a matter of fact, Chinese companies have actively participated in the Belt and Road Initiative in Uganda, and they have been very much involved in some landmark projects. In the infrastructure, for example, the Entebbe-Kampala expressway has been quite successful and has brought good social and economic impacts. Every traveler, when they come to Uganda, they will take on the road of this Kampala-Entebbe expressway, and they will feel amazed to see the beautiful sceneries along the expressway, as well as the good quality of this expressway. And they may thought that they were in a developed country, but as a matter of fact, Uganda is still a least developed country with over $1,000 per capita GDP. In the clean energies, Chinese companies has built several landmark projects, including Ishimba hydropower plant, as well as Kaluma hydropower plant. Take Kaluma hydropower plant as an example. This project was financed by Chinese financial institutions and built by Chinese companies. It was handed over not long ago to the Uganda side. And it has increased the built-in capacity of the electricity for Uganda by 50%, and also reduced the cost of electricity by 17%. That has brought immense benefit to Uganda. And Uganda has become an electricity storage for the East African countries. And it has the ability to export extra electricities to the neighboring countries like South Sudan, like Congo, and other areas. So these development has been very successful and has contributed to social and economic development in Uganda. This is attributed to the principle of wide, extensive consultation and cooperation with shared benefits. That also demonstrates that the Belt and Road Initiative is vibrant and has a bright future.
FOCOG is a very important mechanism binding China and Africa ever since 20 years ago, since its inception. We're expecting FOCOG to take place in Beijing in September under the theme of speeding up modernization, building a high-level China-Africa community of shared future. What is your understanding, Ambassador Zhang, of this year's theme, and how do you expect that to deliver for Africa and for China?
Yes, we're going to have this FOCAC New Summit to be held in September in Beijing. And African countries are looking forward to it. The FOCAC is a gathering of family between China and African countries, and also is a very important platform for cooperations between these two sides. So Uganda will also send high-level delegations to this summit, and we expect this summit will bring more potentials for the development of China-African relationship and open new chapter for China-Africa high-level community with a shared future.
Ambassador Zhang, bilateral trade exceeded $1 billion. That is a new threshold. But looking at it another way, it is still not as big as China's relations with other countries or Uganda's trading relations with its regional partners. What holds the most potential for further growth? What sectors do you think are most promising going forward?
China-African cooperations follows the needs of African countries. African Union has the Agenda 2063. Uganda has the Vision 2040. China has advocated the Belt and Road Initiative and the Global Development Initiative, Global Security Initiative, and Global Civilization Initiatives. So what we are going to do is to enhance the synergy of development strategies of each side. So the potentiality for cooperation is very big. Last year at the China-Africa Leaders Summit, President Xi Jinping has proposed 3 initiatives to support the common development of African countries, namely supporting Africa's industrialization, supporting Africa's agricultural modernization, and also supporting China-Africa cooperation on talent development. So these areas are the priority areas for China, African countries, as well as for China-Uganda cooperations. Take Uganda for example. Uganda encourages value addition. So we encourage Chinese companies to invest more in these areas, such as agricultural processing. Uganda is very much rich in its agricultural products, like good quality coffee, avocado, pineapples. So these are areas for cooperation in the processing sectors. Uganda also encourages industrializations. Our industrial parks has been playing a very good role in providing new employment, in the localization of the industries, in providing affordable price of products. So we hope that the investors will come to Uganda to invest in these areas and to provide more high-end manufacturing products to the Uganda market. That is meeting the needs of the local market. In the tourism sectors, I think we have a lot of things to do. Tourism is encouraged by Uganda, and Uganda has rich tourism resources like Lake Victoria, like chimpanzee, wildlife, national parks. In terms of national parks, Uganda has developed very early, and they have gained much experiences in management of national parks. Even China can learn from it. So all these areas that we can cooperate, and I believe our future is quite bright.
Ambassador Zhang, there have been concerns here in Uganda, in some parts of Africa, and also an issue amplified by the Western media and their narratives on Chinese engagement with Africa, that China is somehow portrayed as a country that's extracting natural resources from Africa, where the trade and the investment relations is one-sided, benefiting China largely. What would be your response to those allegations?
Death trap, neocolonialism, are fabrications and lies by some Western forces to smear and even to stop China-Africa mutually beneficial cooperations. These things will never happen in the future, and they didn't happen in the past. And facts speak for themselves. China pursues mutually beneficial cooperations, abide by non-interference, and does not attach any political conditions to these assistance to Uganda and also to whole Africas. And also, I believe the local people have the most say on these issues. Many Ugandan people tell me that in the past, colonists developed themselves through the labor of slaves, and also through exploration of the natural resources in African countries. But China is different from the past, from those people. China developed itself by his own effort, as well as pursuing the mutually beneficial cooperations with the African countries. So that's why we say that Chinese modernization has provided new alternative to developing countries on the path to modernizations on their own conditions.
Ambassador Zhang, Global Civilization Initiative is the latest addition to President Xi's solutions initiatives globally. And the Uganda-China relations are considered a model in that regard. If you look at the Confucius Institute here, the medical teams that China has sent over the decades to help Ugandans, and also the development projects, aid projects over there. How are they faring? How are they progressing over the years?
President Xi Jinping has proposed a global civilization initiative, which has received warm welcome and active response from African countries, including Uganda. As you know, not too long ago, the United Nations General Assembly has adopted a resolution to establish International Day of Dialogue among Civilizations. And Uganda is a member of a core group for that resolution. That demonstrates the active response from the Uganda side to this great initiative. As you said that we have medical teams in Uganda. The medical teams has been in Uganda since the year 1983. And so far, around 23 batches of doctors have been dispatched to Uganda. And this have served the local community quite well. There are about 270,000 patients who have received treatment from these Chinese doctors. Also, these doctors frequently go to the local community to provide a free service to the local people, and they are warmly welcomed in Uganda. In the education field, China also established the Confucius Institute in Makerere University, the Confucius class in another technology institute. This program has trained around 20,000 local language learners. Also, they have trained around 200 local teachers for Mandarin. So So these teachers, after they gained this language skill, they work in different schools in Uganda and help spread this language, also enhance the exchanges of culture between the two sides. With these programs, the understanding between the two sides and people-to-people exchanges has been greatly enhanced. For example, those learners who have gained the ability to speak Mandarin have a better opportunity to get a job in the local market.
Ambassador Zhang, thank you so much for your time and for all your help in facilitating this trip to Uganda. We hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Again, he can hold in guns. He can comprehend words. He protested.
Were you worried about your life at that particular time?
Not at all.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for your time now. What is your assessment of the state of the continent today?
Africa has the potential to power itself.
Excuse me.
We're here on the mission. We're told by our friends that the learning of the Chinese language and cultures is quite popular here in Uganda, is gaining traction among the young people. We're here to find out, and we're told that there are a few better places to go than the Confucius Institute at Makerere University. So let's go find out. Dr. JJ, so good to see you. Thank you for having us here.
You're welcome.
It's a great university, and obviously it's made even better. Maybe you can start off by telling us a bit about the passion among the Uganda students in learning Chinese, and how has this university, this facility in particular, helped that process?
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Gilbert Gumoshabe. I'm the director of Confucius Institute at Makerere University. We are now celebrating 10 years of existence as a Confucius Institute. What I can say about what China has done to Uganda is what people cannot imagine. Chinese has been embraced. From the Confucius Institute, we have spread over, and Chinese is taught in all the corners of Uganda. It has a national character. We are teaching Chinese from senior 1 or secondary school level 1 up to secondary school level 6 this year. The first students will sit national examinations to join university, having studied Chinese.
So meaning Chinese language is one of the optional tests for college entrance?
Yes, the entrance to the university next year, we shall have students who have qualified with Chinese as one of the subjects.
So meaning if they can pass the Chinese test, it can be a plus for their college enrollment?
Yes, even a student can now enroll directly from Uganda to China without having to undergo the studying of Chinese, because they already have competence for 6 years of studying Chinese as a language. So we have made that stride, and we are successful with it. And the people who are teaching them are Ugandans. So we have made that investment. We thank the government of China for sponsoring the teachers. We retrain the teachers for a period of 9 months, non-stop. By the time they come back, they have already finished HSK 4, some have even finished HSK 5, and they are able to go and teach Chinese at the lower level.
So intensive training of the teachers going back to China, or going to China, and then coming back to teach the Ugandan students?
No, we teach them, we train them
here
in Uganda, at Urian's Institute of Technology, where we have a Confucius classroom. With the Chinese, Ugandans have embraced it. Northern Uganda, we have schools. Northwestern Uganda, we have schools. Central Uganda, we have schools. Western Uganda, Eastern Uganda, we have all those schools spread over. As of now, over 100 schools are teaching Chinese, and the demand for it is increasing. As you may notice, in Uganda, China has made great investment. The biggest number of industries and factories in Uganda are by the Chinese. So they are the foreign direct investors in Uganda that are holding a bigger chunk of our industrial sector. And as we all know, Chinese, they come when they do not know much English, and they want people who know Chinese. And as a result, many people are getting employment, and we thank the government of China for doing that and opening up to the world with a mutual benefit for both China and Uganda.
Yeah, that was the question I was going to ask you. What do you think is driving the growing passion among the Ugandans to learn Chinese, to pick up the Chinese language? I mean, it's not precisely an easy language to learn. If you compare it to English or to Spanish, you said that there's a more robust commercial engagement, more Chinese investors coming here, employing locals. What about the cultural aspect?
China is in a special way, I would say, because I have been here for some time and have seen what goes on. Where it's true that China has a different writing system compared to, say, English. But all languages are equally complex in terms of learning. You only need to belong to a certain age, and you will easily understand the language, speak it, and write it. And that has been proved. Students here are learning Chinese. They know how to write it, they know how to read it, they understand it, and they speak it. So that one is not a big problem. But then at the same time, everything goes with the incentive that are associated with it.
The career prospects?
There are many career prospects if you do Chinese, because China has opened up to the world. China is a big economy. You need to move around. If you don't find 60% of what is in the supermarkets made in China,
60%.
Yes. We also have those which are made in Uganda, and a number of them by the Chinese companies. So they are contributing directly to the economic growth of Uganda. On the cultural aspect, part of it, China's culture is good, highly embracing, just like our Ugandan cultures. For us, we have a multitude of cultures. But then when you look at the way China takes itself and the way the Chinese conduct themselves, you need to understand the cultures and you get the background of the two. The Chinese culture is humane in nature. It is not imposed. You only need to learn the culture and know how to live with that culture. So it is not a big problem. And even anyway, here as Confucius Institute, part of our mandate is to teach language and culture. Get the background of what takes place in China. I've been there a number of times. I'm always welcomed. And even when I see how their interaction, you don't see people moving away from you. Actually see people coming closer to you. And it exactly tells when they say people for mutual benefit. Benefit and I also benefit. It works out very well.
纽约苏珊娜，卡拉也叫法隆吉吧。柏林来到我福冈，我准备有点吉他，各种颜色的皮肤，各种颜色的头发，最里面的说的开始流行中国话，都想让我故意用规发音和文法。
周院长，我们这个背景就是咱们自己孔子学院的学生用中文在说唱吧？
对对对，是的，这是中国话。因为你看它前面那一段，因为这个中国话里面有一些这 rap 非洲人啊，他们很有天赋在这个方面。
其实得把他们的这个兴趣爱好和咱们这个中国文化的教育结合起来，可能让效果也特别好。
是的，用唱歌学中文这种方式，
这是不是也是这个麦克雷利大学的一个教学的方式之一？就不光是教他们语言，
对对，
也是这个授之于语，就是说一方面是培养老师，另一方面是启蒙他们的一些兴趣和中华文化相关。
对，其实很多学生在学习中国就是学习汉语以后，就是更多的是通过对这种中国文化的魅力产生更大的兴趣，激发他们继续学好中文。
那麦克雷利大学成立了10周年了啊，这10周年您能不能给我们回顾一下？有哪些这个工作当中的一些亮点啊？包括和当地社会帮助他们学中文，帮助乌干达普及中文这个过程当中，是一个怎样的一个过程？
我们麦克雷大学孔子学院是2014年揭牌，在仅4年的时间，我们2018年就获得了全球先进孔子学院。在2018年的时候，我们开启了 全球首批的乌干达本土培训教师的项目。也就是因为在这个项目的同时，我们完成了乌干达中学初等阶段的中文教学大纲。就是随着这个教学大纲获得了乌干达教体部审批通过的同时，这个中文就代表着它正式进入乌干达的国民教育体系。
这个进入国民教育体系啊，他们教育部批准。这个是在什么阶段？是在这个咱们说的义务教育阶段，还是高中以上阶段、高等教育阶段？
就是在义务阶段，就是中学。我们的乌干达中学开设汉语是从2019年初正式开始的，因为我们的这个本土培训是2018年结束，然后当时有30多名老师同时就进入到他们各自的学校开始，然后在2022年的时候，我们第一批这个中学的老师中学的学生，他们就毕业就进入到高中，所以在2022年我们就迎来了第一批的中学会考，这个也是获得了乌干达教体部的就是审批，然后成为了他们国家的就是中文教师中文的这个考试，就是进入了国家的考试。
那就是说你要是把中文做成一种选修课的话，可以参加中文考试，就也成为一个加分项了，是这样吗？那你要说是其他的学生还需要考其他的科目？
他这个中文就是因为在乌干达，他首先他进入了这个国民教育体系以后，然后学校有自主权，就是选择是不是开设这门语言作为选修课。就刚才我说到的这个乌干达本土中文教师培训项目，是中国教育部语合中心和乌干达教育部合作的一个项目。截止到目前，我们已经培训了145名乌干达的本土的中文老师。我们现在正在进行第5期的培训，然后现在目前有106名的乌干达老师在大概90所中学教授中文课程。乌干达教体部为了配合就是中文课程在乌干达的推广，在教体部设立了2个中文专业的这种编制的这个岗位这2位也是从中学里面选拔出来的，当然他们也是参加过我们这个本土汉语培训这个也算是乌干达教体部政府方面为了推广中文做的一些努力。
我们可以看到合作的深度广度都在不断的增加。
对。
That will do it for this edition of The Hub on CGTN. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Wang Guan in Kampala, the capital city of Uganda. I'll see you again next time.